สวัสดีค่ะทุกคน อันนี้เป็นแบบ sloth version สวัสดีค่ะเขาเขียนว่า
อ๋อ
you
ยัง
are
ไม่ช้า
live
พอ
แล้ว
พี่ ช้ากว่านี้อีก เอา
ส
ช้ากว่านี้อีก
วัสดีค่ะ
ได้ ผ่าน
ทุกคน ส
I
วัสดีค่ะ
love
ทุก
your
ค
I
น
love the content of your videos. You speak so slowly and clearly.
Oh. Okay, I'm not gonna acknowledge that. สวัสดีค่ะทุกคน Welcome to my channel, Thai with Sarah. It's gonna be on my YouTube too. So we have a special guest today. His name is Luke. Learn like Luke. I like his page name. Yeah. Luke แนะนำตัวหน่อยค่ะ Luke เป็นใครคะ
Hi, everyone. I'm Luke. I've been on your show before. I'm back again. So I've been learning Thai for about 19 years, speaking it with relative fluency for 15 and teaching it for 12. Just recently started teaching beginners about 4 or 5 years ago. Before that, I was mostly teaching low intermediate to intermediate students. Now I basically teach all ranges. So yeah, today we are going to talk about for the most part, beginner topic, but some things in here are good for low intermediates too, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We were just talking. Oh, where are you now, Luke? อยู่ที่ไหนตอนนี้
I am in ศรีนครินทร์กรุงเทพ
อ๋อเหรออยู่กรุงเทพเหรอ
ใช่ครับพี่
อยู่กรุงเท
เรา
พ
มาเรียนส
ไป
กี
ทำอะไร
กัน มาซ้อมส
อ๋อเล่น
กี
สกีมาซ้อมสกี
ใช่ครับ
ซ้อม
ใช่
คืออะไรคะภาษาอังกฤษแปลว่า
ซ้อ
อะไร
ม
ซ้อม
ซ้อมก็คือ actually they're learning how. I am ปัดฝุ่น I'm let's say brushing off the dust. Yeah.
Brushing off the dust.
Yeah, because I haven't skied in 10 years, but my daughter and my wife haven't ever skied before, so they're getting lessons actually. But me, I'm just there for support. But yeah, we're doing it every week until we go to Japan next month, so that way they'll be ready to hit the slopes. Yeah.
อ๋อโอเคอ๋อมาทุกอาทิตย์เลยเหรอ
Yep
มาทุก
มา
อาทิ
ทุ
ต
ก
ย์
อา
เล
ทิ
ย
ตย์เลยครับ ใช่ครับ มาอาทิตย์ที่แล้วแล้วก็อาทิตย์นี้อาทิตย์หน้าแล้วก็อีก2 อาทิตย์ก็มา
ก็ไป
ใช่ครับ
ไปญี่ปุ่น
ใช่ครับ
Japan is
อีก
ญี่ปุ่น
3 อาทิตย์ไปญี่ปุ่น ใช่ครับ
3 อาทิตย์ไปญี่ปุ่น
ใช่
That's interesting structure in Thai in Thai เราจะพูดว่าอีกแล้วก็3 อาทิตย์ but in English you say in 3 weeks ใช่ไหมภาษาไทยจะพูดว่าอีกจะไม่พูดว่าใน yeah in Thai we say we're going to Japan more เหมือนอีกใช่ไหมถ้าจะแปล translation อีกแต่ว่าอีกมันแปลว่า in another ปะ
ครับก็
in another 3 weeks
อีกอ่ะอีกก็คืออีกอ่ะมันก็ครับมันก็แค่นั้นน่ะอีกก็คืออีกอ่ะ
today's topic คืออะไรคะ today's topic
เราจะพูดถึงคำว่าถูกแล้วก็ความหมายต่างๆของคำนี้นะครับเพราะว่าคำว่าถูกเนี่ยผมจำได้เรียนภาษาไทยแรกๆก็ตื่นเต้นมากเลยเจอoh no yeah there we go okay Benjamin's explanation of the 5 ถูก meanings and I was very diligent practicing the 5 meanings and then I got a certain way into learning Thai and I learned there's actually even more usages of it. They don't really diverge from those 5 basic meanings, but they're still a bit unexpected sometimes. So we'll talk about those too. So we'll talk about the basic various meanings like you have here, cheap, correct, and then we'll talk about some other things. So what else we have? We got cheap, we got correct, got passive voice marker. You're in Thai. Touch, sure, yeah, sure, for sure. Passive voice marker. Like unable to when you are unsure about a set of options, right? So instead of using mâi-dâai, we'll often use mâi-tùuk when we're not exactly sure how to do something or choose something. It's often used with selections, but we'll get there. We'll talk about that. And then we have fixed phrases, right? So do tùuk, tùukใจ, tùuk kho, also tùukกัน. We didn't talk about that one, but
ถูกกันไม่ถูกกัน yeah you have on your list ใช่ไหม you have
I've added it to my list. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay, เรามาเริ่ม let's start with the first like a start with the basics one ใช่ไหม basic ones meanings
Most basic ones, yeah. Yeah, the first 2 are the most basic, right?
ถูกแปลว่า cheap how do we use that in a phrase or a sentence? For example,
อันนี้ถูกมากเลย
อันนี้ถูกมากเลยอ่ะภาษาไทยอันนี้ถูกมากเลย This one is so cheap. So cheap, really. Can you expand เลย here?
เลยก็ขยายมากปะ it's just expanding on มาก it's underlining มาก but so I like Pinu's explanation. He says that เลย even when we use it in this meaning, it actually still is giving us the idea of เลย as to go past something, right? เลย can mean to go past something. Here it means it's gone past the point of มาก, like
okay.
it's either more than มาก or it is so
Really?
มากthat there is ไม่ต้องสงสัย no doubt about it, it is definitely มาก, right? So it's just an emphatic expression. Yeah.
An emphasis, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you put when you instead this is so cheap. This is so cheap, right? When you put the emphasis on the word so there, that's similar to what Lily is doing. In most cases, when it's like this, at least, yeah.
ถูกแล้วก็ the opposite of ถูกคืออะไรคะ
ถูกก็แพงนะครับในกรณีนี้
ใช่
or also ไม่ถูก it's also pretty common as well.
Not cheap.
But we have to be careful with ไม่ถูก we will usually say ราคาไม่ถูกนะอันนี้มันราคาไม่ถูกนะมันไม่ถูก because when you say ไม่ถูก it might get confused with ไม่ถูกแบบไม่ถูกต้อง right
Yeah,
so we often say ราคาไม่ถูก so I'd put maybe ราคา in parentheses in front of ไม่ถูกนะราคา parentheses ไม่ถูก
ราคาแปลว่าprice
คือ price ใช่ครับ
ใช่แต่ว่า in English you don't need it. English you don't have to say the price not cheap, but in Thai you might want to add it if the context is not clear. Yeah. Okay. Next meaning ไหมหรือว่าจะยังไงต่อ
Sure. No, I don't really have anything else to say about that. I mean, okay. How would you say like can I have the price a little cheaper? Can you give me a cheaper price?
ถูก
ลดหน่อยได้ไหมมีถูกกว่านี้ไหมใช่ครับมีถูกกว่านี้
Do you have anything cheaper than this?
Or ลดหน่อยได้ไหม if you want right exactly so those are different right so มีถูกกว่านี้ do you have anything cheaper ลดหน่อยได้ไหม I never asked for bargains in Thailand. I when I first started learning Thai I did it for fun to practice my Thai so I highly encourage people to do that but culturally speaking I don't barter so I would never say ลดหน่อยได้ไหมBut I do ask มีถูกกว่านี้ไหม because I'm a cheapskate and I don't want the most expensive. Often when I go to the drugstore, they'll offer you the name brand drugs and you can just say มีถูกกว่านี้ไหม and then they'll grab you some knockoff non-name brand drug and it'll be the same active ingredient and you can buy that one. So yeah, มีถูกกว่านี้ไหม is a good one.
ถูกกว่านี้ไหม literal meaning is cheaper than this, yeah, like translation. And I agree. Actually, just to kind of emphasize what you were just saying. Because มีถูกกว่านี้ไหม is not the same as can you give me a discount, right? It's like we're opting for a cheaper version, yeah, instead of asking for a discount. So that's different.
You could change the me to เอา and then you could be potentially asking for a discount. เอาถูกกว่านี้ได้ไหมเอาถูกกว่านี้ได้ไหม
เอาถูกกว่านี้ได้ไหม
ก็ได้เนาะbut again I wouldn't say that. I don't ask that. So I never use that sentence. But I've heard this quite often. Okay. Next
meaning of ถูก is correct. Yeah.
Right. And the full phrase is yes.
Hold on. By the way, I know some of you guys probably watching right now and thinking, what about the word ถูก? Is it the same, right? That's different tone, right? ถูก, that one. ถูก and ถูก. We're gonna get into that too. Right now we're talking about
towards the end. We can make a couple examples where they're very similar. ถูกที่ and ถูกที่, for example.
Yeah. Okay. The next meaning of ถูก correct ถูก ถูกต้อง
full form being ถูกต้อง right ถูกต้อง which really interesting. Okay, so talking a bit about Thai word composition. Okay, so ถูก literally means in its most basic definition means to touch something or come into contact with something, right? And so ต้อง also means that. As a beginning learner of Thai, you will think that ต้อง means must. However, ต้อง, for example, ห้ามแตะต้อง, right, means do not touch, right?
Mhm.
We have แตะเนื้อต้องตัว as well. You have tong also means to touch. So ถูกต้อง literally means to touch, put together means you got the right
Synonym.
answer. Yeah, but this is a very common thing in Thai,
Oh,
where you take
interesting. Yeah.
two physical words, and put them together, and you get a more abstract concept. So, for example, ban, house, muang, city, ban muang. It's like the state or the politics of a state, right? So this is another example of that. So to touch, tong to touch, put them together, you get a slightly new concept, which means to get the answer correct. Or, in English, we also have some idiom like to hit the nail on the head means to get the answer, right? So here it's also like that. Like you've come into contact with the truth kind of thing. That's how I've usually explain this to people to help them square away the fact that it's not really different. Nah? The meaning of tool in its physical meaning is used as a metaphor when we say correct. And maybe even price. Maybe you could think about price. Like the price in English, we have a game show called The Price is Right. That means the price is cheap enough for you to buy it. So maybe when we say rakatu, it's a metaphor of the price being a price that is agreeable to you, or a price that strikes your fancy, that you find good for you. And then over time, its meaning changed. So yeah, so I think actually, even though we're talking about different meanings of tool, they're all the same tool deep down, right? Deep inside of
the root.
Where the word comes from. Yeah. It's just when we translate it to English, obviously, it's
different.
totally different. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's happened
this is
to a
why,
lot of Thai words too, right? So a lot of Thai words are like that.
Well, right now I'm learning Japanese, and I really like how they do this. And Benjamin's books did this too, is you approach the Thai language from the Thai language. Yes, sure, this word can be translated a bunch of ways, but you need to look at tūk as tūk, not tūk is this multi-headed hydra that can have millions of meanings. Instead, it's tūk, right? And you learn the nature of tūk and the ways it can be used, rather than necessarily plugging in a bunch of definitions. So these definitions are a guidance for you, but at the same time, you should be thinking more about what is the innate meaning inside of the word tūk in Thai that allows it to be used so many ways. That's what I said at the beginning about you said, so eek means another. And it's like, well, yeah, but eek also means more. And eek also means in a certain amount of time. It has, eek is just eek, right? You just have to learn eek as eek. You can't really think about it as, oh, eek means more or eek means another, because that's always going to mess you up at some point. Yeah. Okay, end of rant about being too literal in your translations as a learner, right?
Yeah.
Good. So, anything you want to say about this?
ถูกต้อง
Right.
ถูกต้อง A lot of Thais use it to just mean right. That's right as well.
But what else can we use to mean right? We can also use chai, right?
But when chai, right? Chai. I
Sure,
guess when we use tūk, we want to emphasize more the accuracy in terms of the accuracy of the information. I feel like it's more formal than chai. ถูกต้อง in a way, but sometimes we use the formal like in an informal to sound funny or silly. Like you don't have to
that's a whole other topic.
it's like the word ถูกต้อง it's like you would hear like a game show, right? And be like, oh ถูกต้อง ครับ yeah. But then I can say that to my friends jokingly. What's that?
Also in classrooms as well, when the teacher's asking for the right answer.
And I can just say ใช่ค่ะ and ถูกต้อง interchangeably. But if I say it to my friends like, whoa, that's right, ถูกต้อง jokingly, I can just use ถูกต้อง instead of ใช่ Yeah, I think it really depends. I'm not sure.
But it has an effect. Yeah, but what I was trying to point out, and you just sort of underlined that for me, is that most of the time you're going to use chai when you want to agree with what someone said, that they said the right thing. You're going to use tūk or tūk tong when you really want to underline that, yes, that's it, that's correct, that's what I meant. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Tūk tong gives this kind of meaning, whereas chai is a little bit less excited about it being right. Of course, you could say chai, tūk tong. That's another thing about Thai, right? Just because you said chai doesn't mean you can't say tūk tong. Now you're not. There's no rules. You can definitely say it, and chai kap, tūk tong kap. You hear this all the time too, right? So to be extra emphatic and use both phrases back to back, pretty common thing.
When you want to, let's say someone says something and you're like, right, ใช่ค่ะ you want to confirm that it's correct. that one that's not when we use ถูก though, right? We're not gonna be like ถูก
Sometimes
ถูก
people do
ค่ะ
though. ถูกครับ
It's a little bit
Some people
too
do.
much, I think.
Yeah.
Let's
Some
say
people do say this though. I have a couple friends who say ถูก they say it noticeably more often than my other friends. So I personally wouldn't recommend that. I remember when I first started speaking Thai, I said ถูก by itself, not ถูกต้อง ถูก a lot, and sometimes people thought it was kind of funny. Like I got known as the guy who said ถูก all the time instead because I never use chai, right? Because chai means yes. No, but it's definitely more common to just right. Chai. Right? ถูก
ถ้า
is
เป็น
more
แบบ
like
operator อย่างเงี้ยแบบเวลาแบบถ้าคุยโทรศัพท์เงี้ยเขาบอกว่าใช่ค่ะใช่ค่ะใช่ค่ะ just to confirm the information. I think that one I don't hear it as ถูก it was sounds a little bit too much like beyond an emphasis. I think like too much. แต่ว่าถ้าพูดกันแบบ casual colloquially อ่ะใช้ถูกได้ปกติเลยถ้าแบบถูกต้องเลยถูกต้องถูกเลยก็ได้ถูกต้องเลย
Yeah, so really, in summary, they're all okay, but don't lock yourself into thinking they're exactly the same. They got slightly different feels. Kind of hard to put a pin on it because it's going to be different depending on the speaker and also the context.
ต้อง keep practicing.
You said chai just now. Could you have said ถูก just now?
ถูก I would say Thai. I would use Thai in this context. I think it's subjective, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you were really excited, ถูกต้อง to me often looks kind of excited. Right?
Yeah, excited.
ถูกต้อง
It has to be something
yes,
like,
that's what I'm trying to say ประมาณว่าตัวเองพูดไม่ถูก
exactly.
แต่อีกคนหนึ่งพูดใช่พูดอย่างนี้แหละถูกต้องเลยที่เราจะพูดอ่ะ right?
ใช่ประมาณนั้น
Again, coming with the idea that ถูกต้อง you've touched what you want to say, right? What like you've hit the nail on the head. ถูกต้อง kind of gives that emphasis. Right? Okay. Anything else about ถูก for this meaning?
ถูกต้อง
ถูกไหม you don't I have something to say ถูกต้องไหม I don't you could say it for sure but you hear ถูกไหม way more often ถูกไหม
Is that right?
I feel like me saying ถูกต้องไหม would sound a little bit like almost kind of not sarcastic but slightly passive aggressive like I'm going to say something I think we both know มันเป็นอย่างนี้อยู่แล้วถูกต้องไหม but normally we say ถูกไหม
ถูกไหม
I feel like
มันอาจจะ maybe need a little bit more formal confirmation ถูกต้องไหมคะ maybe
ใช่ that's true it's quite formal and again it goes back to the idea if you use overly formal language in a non-formal situation it will sometimes come off like you're either doing it for comedic effect or to be passive aggressive it can be both so yeah so okay so but yeah usually you're going to say ถูกไหม in speech not ถูกต้องไหมyeah okay
good touch
you go on this one
ถูกตัว
you run yeah
แต่ว่ามันมีคำเหมือน there are synonyms too right ถูกตัวโดนตัว
yeah you're blocked by the screen your screen shares there you go okay
hold on
ถูกตัว
Hold
what
on,
else do we use? What are synonyms?
I think ถูก may be best used among close friends in a casual way. Well, that's partly true, right? So I think ถูกไหมคะ
ฉันก็ต้องฉันทำอย่างนี้ถูกไหมคะ You can use it I think in a form and
my friend Thai Chinese says this all the time ถูกหรือเปล่า say it all the time ได้ยินเป็นถูกหรือเปล่า Are you sure it's ถูก not ทุก something else
Now there are some people that definitely say ถูก all the time like they say ถูก instead of chai
okay
ถูกyou definitely do have people that talk like this for sure
ถูกตัวว่าอะไร touch the body
come into contact with or touch yeah what are synonyms
โดนตัว
which โดน and ถูก are we'll talk about them in a second
เป็น passive ได้เหมือนกันทั้งคู่ใช่โดนตัว
honestly I feel like ถูก while it's a really interesting word it always has a certain formalness to it where we could always choose a better except for ราคาถูก that's the only one that doesn't have it. But like all the other examples, there's always a slightly less formal version of it, right? We talked about ถูก you could use ใช่ here using ถูกตัว โดนตัว is, I feel like you hear this in speech way more commonly than ถูกตัว way more.
โดนตัว อย่าโดนตัว don't touch me
I mean,
อย่าโดน
yeah, or like เฮ้ยเกือบโดนเลย
แต่ว่า
เกือบโดนตัวผมเลยเมื่อกี้ right? I would never say ถูก
one thing that I feel like it's different between ถูกจับตัวถูกตัว and โดนตัว right? So ถูกตัว and โดนตัว are pretty much interchangeable, and ถูกตัว and โดนตัว doesn't have to be grabbed by hand. It could be just like nudging or like
yeah, no, I mean like
but จับ
something
will be
flies
with hand.
past you.
Yeah. So that's why I put come in contact, not really, because touch, that includes touch too, the brush off and
Yeah,
touch.
it includes touch, yeah, but it's broader, yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
ถูกแล้วก็ อันนี้มันจะลากเข้าไปอธิบายเรื่องปลาถูกได้อีกใช่ไหม
Yeah, sure.
Positive verb. แล้วก็ you throw and then it touches the target or something. That one.
Right.
That will
But
be a resultative verb, which is the same meaning as
again, โดน can also be used here, and it's probably the more common variant in spoken language. ป่าไม่โดนเลย Here, ป่าไม่โดนเลย
ใช้ปลาไม่ถูกนี่ใช้ปลาไม่ถูก
ป่าไม่ถูกก็ได้มั้งป่าไม่ถูก but ป่าไม่ถูก could be กำกวมนะป่าไม่ถูก could mean you don't know ป่าไม่เป็นป่าไม่ถูกอ่ะป่าไม่ถูก right? Could mean that. We're coming to that in a second. But that's why I feel like ถูก because it is so multifaceted in its usages, it makes sense that all of it's just like the word get in English, right? You might mean get and you have receive, you might mean get and you mean to understand, right? But yeah, it could mean all of those different things. And so there are more clear ways of saying get, but we do use get a whole lot. Yeah, so and in a lot of cases I feel like โดน gets chosen over ถูก because it's not but you can't use โดน to mean ถูกต้องนะ you can only use โดน for this meaning and for the passive meaning, which we'll talk about in a second. But okay, what about one more? I feel like ถูกหวย is kind of the touch meaning. It's indirectly the meaning of touching it.
Like come in the
because your number that you chose and the number that got picked match. So that's why you ถูกหวย.
ถูกหวยแปลว่า win the lottery นะคะทุกคน
Yeah, or also to hit the lottery. We can also say to hit the lottery, hit the jackpot. But yeah, to win the lottery. To win the lottery.
You said to hit the jackpot?
Yeah, hit the jackpot we have, yeah. But that's only the jackpot, nah? It's only win the lottery, nah? Win the lottery. A lottery is จับฉลาก nah? Like
oh, I didn't know that.
Like when we raffle off things, that's a lottery. But the lottery, we always like that's the way. What is it in Thai? แบ่งกินรัฐบาล right?
สลากกินแบ่งสลากกินแบ่ง
รัฐบาล กินแบ่งรัฐบาล
This is a problem for someone who learns English as a second language with the and no the and with a and without. It's so like it would be.
Yes, articles are their own beast. Yeah, for sure.
Articles. Well, it would be impossible to remember everything here.
Let me just say, even my first language has articles and German has articles, but the way articles are used in German and the way they're used in English are only like 80% the same, maybe 90, but probably more like 80. So learning that little bit of difference is also quite tricky. So yeah, I feel your pain at least a little bit.
But I usually remember when I get corrected a few times. So this is my first time. This a few more times I remember.
Yeah, win the lottery. Yeah, exactly. Okay,
next one.
Could actually, what about that? So if you จับฉลาก right, and you win, can you use ถูก there?
จับฉลากถูกอะไรวะถูกรางวัล
Yeah, can you say ถูกรางวัล right?
ใช่ถูกรางวัลใช่
Same thing, like
ถูกรางวัลแปลว่าอะไรคะ
award or prize.
Okay.
Because here prize, nah? Because it's a random prize.
ก็แปล
Award
ว่า
is
you got the
yeah,
prize
yeah.
อืม
Or like to win also again. Like you won a
Win.
prize, right? Yeah, win a prize.
โอเค ถูกรางวัล
Yeah, exactly. So that's the same tool, I guess, as in tool way. Yeah.
รางวัล means prize reward and award
Yeah.
ก็ได้ใช่ไหม
True. I didn't think about reward. Yeah, reward as well. But reward and award are always very targeted, intentional. Prize can be intentional, but it can also be just a random, you win a prize. So, yeah.
แล้วคนไทยใช้
คน
รา
ไท
ง
ย
วัลหมดเลย
all รางวัลใช่ครับ
นี่อ่านว่าวันนะคะทุกคนลอลิง ending เป็นนอนหนูหมดยังจะไป passive
That's
marker ยัง
good. On to the passive marker. Yes.
So this is the let's just recap first. Like
Yeah.
how far the three items. So first one is cheap ใช่ไหม First meaning cheap. Second meaning is correct. That's right. And then the second one is touch. Sorry, third one touch. แล้วก็ on to the fourth passive voice marker. What is that, Luke?
Well, okay, first of all, again, I think it all stems from touch. So here, like, it's like so it's tool plus some verb, right?
ใช่
Tool plus a verb. So it's like the subject comes into contact with this verb. They don't do the verb actively. Instead, the verb gets done to them, right?
Receive
So,
that action.
Right, exactly.
Contact.
So, most common example is with the or chon, right? So, for example,
the
พ่อตีเด็ก, the father hits the child. If we want to turn that into passive voice, we turn it into เด็กถูกตี
ใช่ beaten up ปะ
Get beaten better.
Get beaten.
For me, get beaten up is ถูกซ้อม
okay.
โดนซ้อมมากกว่า. It's like getting your ass kicked, getting beaten up. Yeah.
แล้วถ้าเกิดว่าพ่อซ้อมลูกอะ
He beats up his kid. Yeah, we would say beats up on usually, I feel like. Beats
Okay.
to beat on or beat up
And
on someone.
I have to use this often, so let's carry on.
Okay. Good. So but another note about this, okay? So, okay, two notes about the passive voice in Thai. One, if we are going to use the passive voice, which we often won't choose to, but we'll come to that in a second. In spoken language, you almost always use do, and I hardly ever hear anyone use to. Almost โดนตีตอนเด็กโดนตีไหมตอนไอ้นี่เมื่อวานเพื่อนโดนซ้อมออกมาจากบาร์แล้วก็โดนซ้อมเฉยเลย right? I feel like โดน is much more common. It makes you sound much less robotic or overly stiff to just use โดน rather than ถูก here. Like honestly, I almost never hear ถูก used except for ถูกหวยถูกรางวัล. Then you can't use, I mean, you could use โดนนะ you could use โดนหวย no, but โดนรางวัลโดนรางวัลได้ไหม
ไม่ได้
No? Okay.
ไม่ได้ได้เฉพาะ
I feel like people do say it, but it might not be right. But I've definitely heard it. I've definitely heard, hey, เสือกโดนรางวัลเลย and I've definitely heard this. Like, เนี่ยมันไปงานนี้ไม่ได้คิดว่าจะได้อะไรเลยแต่เสือกโดนรางวัลเลย I've definitely heard
แต่
that.
มันเหมือนแบบว่าไม่ได้ it sounds like the person didn't like feel like willing to receive it, or like it's like totally by chance and he didn't expect it. Maybe?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it does still work in some capacities, but it's not a neutral phrasing. True. Okay, so anyway, back to the doan plus verb, right? So what could we could use doan ti, doan chon. Exactly. And that's the really interesting thing that you I was trying to lead up to this. So you've already taken the wind out of my sails somewhat. I'm just kidding. But like doan is used so frequently that we can just use doan by itself without a verb to imply that something bad is going to happen to you. Nah. For example, you will hear a lot of times parents say to their children when their kids are acting out, เดี๋ยวโดนนะ
เนี่ยกำลังจะพิมพ์เลยเดี๋ยวโดน
โดนอะไร
and then verb
what
dropped
โดน what
punish or something เดี๋ยวโดน
but เฮ้ยโดนเลยเราอ่ะ oh man, that they really got you this time. In English, we also do that, right? Got what? Yeah, they got you, right? So, but let's think about some doans, not doan log, right? And honestly, so there's signs at the Pataton right now. I don't know how often you to stop at Pataton, but they have these signs at PTT warning people against getting getting tricked, like by scammers and stuff. And I've seen both Tuk Lok and Don Lok. So the idea that Don is too informal to be used in writing ever is also a bit overstated. You do see Don Lok in writing as well as in speech. Again, though, I hardly ever hear anyone say Tuk Lok. You hear Don Lok all the time.
I can understand why don can be understood as a little bit more like less formal. Oh, sorry, less formal than tuk, right? I think I can understand it because I feel like if you ask me, I feel like, oh, don and tuk. Oh yeah, maybe don is a little bit more like colloquial, but it's not really the case, like you said. Yeah,
it's not 100%, right? It's like there are some examples of words where that's barely the case, but here it tends to be informal, sorry. And like in the meaning of doan that we're talking about here, where you leave out the verb behind it, that is completely spoken language, right? You would not hear that you would not see that in a written context at all. Like that นักเรียนกลัวว่าจะโดน it just it seems doing what? Yeah, exactly. You'll get punished.
I like it. Yeah. I like that it can be
get in trouble as well.
Get in trouble. You're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
The thing is, you can actually use it with your romantic partner, because I love using that with my ex too. I'd be like, you're doing. I'll kick
hot
your
water
ass.
Too. Yeah, hot water too. But actually, it's an interesting word because people ask me a lot, how do I say to be in trouble? And I say, you have to give up on trying to translate this phrase because the phrase to be in trouble in English is a very English specific phrasing, right? Like a lot of people think be in trouble means me panha, but it doesn't, right? It means, or I see do it wrong as a translation a lot of time for be in trouble, but it's not really right because be in trouble means someone is mad at you. And so there's a punishment coming for you in some way, shape, or form. And it's usually some kind of emotional punishment. And that's a lot of times what this diodoan refers to, right? Diodoan.
So instead of asking, how do you say this in Thai? You have to maybe frame it in a way that say, what do you guys say in a situation like this? Is it the same as English as
ถูกต้องครับ
right?
ใช่เลย
So that's important. How do you say this in Thai? It's not always like correct or ถูก
Yeah. What would you say in Thai if you wanted to talk about blah blah blah?
Scenario. Context. Yeah.
And it seems like a small difference, but the place that you put the person you're asking's brain is a much better place for you as a learner. They're going to give you they're going to be much less likely to give you an over translated term that never gets used, and instead they're just going to try and think about the way they would say it in this situation. So exactly right. Yeah, totally agree with that.
Right. Okay. But I usually predict what my student's going to say because I can tell, oh, you want to say this in English, right? This is not how we say in Thai. I usually get it, right? Because like, oh, okay, it's like you cannot just like.
But I try not to. I know that we can do that, but I try to give my students the feeling of not understanding what they mean when they do that because it gives them it simulates the experience that they might have with a Thai speaker who doesn't know English, right? Like what? I have no idea where you're going with that phrasing, or else I think something totally different than you expect me to think, and I'm not doing the work of translating for you or going for you actually. So. Yeah, we can come back to that later though. Let's one more thing I want to say about passive.
The first, but when I heard them say it, right? I didn't get it as a native speaker. When I heard them say it, and then they would say it a few more times, and then I could be like, oh, you meant to say this in this situation, right?
Sure.
Yeah, but usually it's in the homework. It's in the homework.
But I do think it's important for them to experience the shock of being sure that they knew what they were saying, and then you have no clue because the words don't translate like they thought. And getting used to that is part of the experience of learning the language, right? Is like because you have to become more and more careful. Like, okay, word by word translations don't work, and so I need to be careful and maybe try and pick a wording that is even perhaps more indirect to get to what I want to say rather than trying to just throw out a translation, so to speak. So,
But a lot
yeah.
of times Thais wouldn't even correct them, or they would just like brush
No.
it off and they would just move on. They didn't even know
Yes.
that they were not understood to begin with. Like most of the
Very
times when
true.
I observe their interaction, let's say at my meetup, right? When I see my students talking to a Thai person and they be like, I know right away that they like that message was just like not.
There was a breakdown. Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's
So
okay. But that's okay. That's part of the journey. That's part of the process. It's fine. But I can tell, like, oh,
sure.
you missed that part. But
Sure. For sure. Yeah, I have my students send me a 1 to 2 minute interview when they start with me, so I can get a level like I have with. So they have to send a clip of them speaking Thai by themselves, like either self introduction or about a topic that they want to talk about, depending on their level. Then I have them talk with a Thai person, and it's always so interesting to see how forgiving some Thai people are versus others who are like, "Alai na, mai khom wa ngai?" And they do this constantly. They constantly do this, and some learners hate it. But I think it's really good for them to
it's good.
have someone give them that kind of feedback, right? It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to say one more thing about the passive voice.
Okay.
Thai a lot of times just skips the passive voice.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A lot of times you don't need to do any passive marking at all. Now, in very obvious cases, that's not the truth. But like, okay, first of all, if it's a positive thing, we don't use tûuk very often. Nah. So, for example, we have examples of like don ti, don, or tûk ti, tûk som. Right. But when it's a good thing, we don't use tûk. We use dâai-ráp instead. Nah, which is a bit formal. But so you can use dâai sometimes too. Now, for example, to get promoted, right, is dâai-ráp ลื่อนตำแหน่ง. เขาได้รับเลื่อนตำแหน่ง but you can also just say, huh? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, ได้เลื่อนตำแหน่ง or simply เลื่อนตำแหน่ง. Right. But the full phrase that you
ได้รับเลื่อนตำแหน่งเหรอไม่เคยได้ยินเลยได้รับเลื่อนตำแหน่ง
ได้รับตำแหน่งครับได้รับตำแหน่ง
อ๋อได้รับตำแหน่งโอเคใช่ๆถ้าได้รับตำแหน่งโอเค
ใช่ได้รับตำแหน่งเป็น blah 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 right
ใช่
ได้รับ so ได้รับเลือก right you hear ถูกเลือก sometimes นะ but ถูกเลือก seems
negative
yes exactly it ถูกเลือก for something that you didn't want to get เลือก for นะ you didn't want to get เลือก and you ถูกเลือก right so ได้รับเลือกเป็น maybe like the winner of some kind of competition or something like this, right? But yeah, in general, we don't use tûk or don for positive passive voice. In English, this is very much allowed, right? You could say, I got accepted into the university, right? And in Thai, you wouldn't use passive voice at all here, would you?
Could be another topic as well for ได้รับรับ
Yeah, for sure. But to start with, just the idea I want to drive home here is that if it's a positive thing and you're thinking about it in English, like I got accepted, I got selected, I got promoted, you know, we aren't going to want to use tûk or do, definitely not don. Tûk, maybe sometimes in some fringe cases, maybe, but definitely not don. And you're gonna go much more towards dâai-ráp or dâai simply, or in some cases also ráp. That's a topic for another day. But you can also, I actually just heard one when I was at the mall just now, and I heard someone say something, and I thought, ooh, that's a perfect one. I got to remember that, and of course I forgot it. But for example, to be taken care of, ได้รับการดูแล
yeah.
You would never use tûk ดูแล That sounds weird becauseดูแลis a good thing. ดูแลis a desirable thing. So you would not say tûk or don, right? But for example, ควบคุม could work with tûk นะ ถูกควบคุม But then again, it's something that's out of control, so it needs ควบคุม, so it's kind of a negative thing. It's a positive result in the end, but for the thing that's getting ควบคุม, it's a negative thing. So we can use tûk there. So I'm trying to think of other ได้รับ examples. ได้รับเลือก ได้รับ Okay, I have heard ได้ถูกคัดเลือกเป็น but I've
เนี่ยมัน
also
got a
been told
chance ถูกปะ got a chance to be selected as
yeah, but then
ได้
still, why is ถูก allowed there?
ได้ถูก
I've
เลือก
heard from some people that it's just not good Thai. I don't know. I'm not the one to judge that, but I don't know. It
ไม่
feels
ขอ can you
like
give me the full sentence again the sentence again
ได้ถูกคัดเลือกเป็น like for some kind of but I feel like dâai-ráp is better there, nah, personally. But I have definitely heard ได้ถูกคัดเลือก 100% heard it and asked someone about it, and they said it's not beautiful Thai, but you know maybe it's maybe as Kru Non, this master translator would say, it's มันคืออิทธิพลของภาษาอังกฤษหรือเปล่าแบบนี้
แต่คัดเลือกมันจะมากกว่าเลือกนะคัดเลือก it's more than เลือก I think คัดเลือก is more like
Sure,
selected like a more a little
Yeah,
bit
sure.
more selective than เลือก maybe that's why
For
they
sure,
use
but why does that make ถูก okay?
ได้รับ
It's
อ๋อ
still
instead
not.
of ได้รับคัดเลือกใช่ไหม
I think ได้รับคัดเลือก is better. Personally, I would always choose to say ได้รับคัดเลือก. It sounds
ได้ถูก
more
คัดเลือกเป็น
desirable.
ครูซาร่าได้ถูกคัดเลือกเป็นได้รับคัดเลือกมัน to me I feel like ถูกได้ถูกคัดเลือก just more casual it's not anything like not good Thai because I heard it before too yeah it's
Yeah,
more like
yeah.
less formal I would say
You say it's less formal?
it's less formal like if I hear it ได้รับคัดเลือกเป็นand ได้ถูกคัดเลือกเป็น I feel like ได้ถูกคัดเลือกเป็น is less formal than
But
ได้รับคัด
again,
เลือก
even less formal, and probably what you would want in spoken language would just be ได้คัดเลือกไหมได้คัดเลือกเป็น
ไม่ได้
คนนี้
มัน
ได้
ไม่
คั
ใช่
ดเลือก
passive
เป็น
voice ไม่ใช่
Oh,
passive
it
voice
happens all the time. You hear it all the time, and it's used instead of the passive voice because you don't need it. เขาได้คัด
if
เลื
you
อก
if you ask me right when I hear ได้คัดเลือกเป็น that doesn't sound like the person received the action
เลือก Yeah,
to
but
me
it's used all the time to mean that. You do leave it out
to
all
me
the
it's
time.
to me it's incomplete when I heard it ได้คัดเลือกเป็น
Okay.
it has to be ได้ถูก or ได้รับคัดเลือกเป็น to be passive voice by the way guys if you just tune in passive voice mean the subject receive the action the person receives the action instead of perform the action because we keep saying passive right so also one other thing I want to add about Dawn is it just came to my mind like when you talk about you mentioned about the word who can be dropped when passive voice in some cases mostly when it's an object being constructed or built like for example like สะพานสร้าง
Yes,
สะพานสร้าง
good,
เมื่อ
good.
ปี
Thank you. Good, very
yeah
nice.
สะพานสร้างเมื่อ
Couldn't
ปี
think of any
and
good
also
examples.
in that case we cannot use don't yeah because it's positive I don't know neutral thing
Same for
like,
เขียน Yeah, เขียน which is also a creation verb, right? เขียน
yeah
So you can say
create
งานนี้เขียนขึ้นมาในปี without any markers at all, without any die, without anything. You could just use เขียน by itself. And you could say ถูกเขียน as well. I feel like it's less desirable in spoken language. You'd probably just say เขียน. But that's great. So is written, is built, is created, is trying to think what else. Patana, to be developed. You can also do it with that, I think. Right? Like you wouldn't be able to
ถูก
use
พัฒนาไม่ใช่โดนพัฒนาใช่ถูกพัฒนา
No, yeah. All those are the similar ones. Yeah, that's a great one. That's very nice. ถูกพัฒนา โดนพัฒนา No โดน
ถูกพัฒโอ้ยเบื่อพิมพ์ไหมนี่เมื่อไหร่ทุกคนจะอ่านภาษาไทยออกคะถูกพัฒนา บ่น when เฮ้ยทำไมลุกไม่พูดแล้วกำลังคิดอะไรอยู่หรือเปล่า you're thinking
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm running through to see if there are more examples like the one you just said, because I like this idea that there are some cases where ถูก is not where ถูก and don't are not changeable.
AI ถูกพัฒนาให้
But you could also say เดี๋ยวนี้ AI พัฒนามาไกลแล้วนะ and there is no need to mark that there.
Exactly.
But you couldn't say don't.
That's why I said the word tool can be dropped mostly when it's clear that the thing cannot happen by say it had to be created by human. Then you can just drop it, which is important because like in English you cannot like this bridge built in 1994. You cannot say that, right? It has to say it was built. but in
No.
Thai you can drop ถูก yeah
ออก
so
แบบ
that's
is another one
ถูกออกแบบ
you can
โด
just
น
drop
นะ
it
โด
as
นออก
well
แบบไม่ได้ใช่ไหมโดนออกแบบถูกออกแบบดีอะถูกออก
nah
แบบ design
I mean okay I think there's gonna if we're going to very advanced Thai there are some cases where don can always be used if the thing that it was turned into was negative then you could use don just to show that like
design
but
นี่เป็
it's
น
very fringe so I think it's not worth getting into
got
uh,
this is like got developed or created into
yeah
you know
something right sure and also got
อ
designed
อกแบบ got design to be เหรอ ถูก
yeah
ออก
or
แบบ
into to be into also both are fine
โอเคอ่ะ
I'm trying to think if there are any more of those that are similar สร้างออกแบบเขีย
ถู
น
กสร้าง
spoken okay so here's what I'm trying to think of English examples because like you know people are trying to translate their thoughts so it was said that how would you say that it was back in the old days it was said that
in Thai
yeah
เขาว่ากันว่า
exactly exactly but actually that's actually very common that we can use a cow structure and a generic cow structure to also mark the passive voice
yeah
right yeah it's actually also very common so right like cow wagon is especially a good one there so that sort of covers that one for that one okay all right so that's enough about the passive voice but basically when I was learning Thai I learned just use tûk blanket tûk and man looking back at my videos from when I've been learning Thai for 3 or 4 years I used a lot of tûk and it does not sound particularly natural so and that's because English it very much allows passive voice everywhere in Thai we really only use passive voice for emphasis or when it really well with actions with clear results like getting hit by a car then you're going to use the passive voice but in like what you were saying in an instance of creation we don't necessarily need it at all in an instance of people what is being said right now or what is being written right what is being talked about all these very common phrases in English in Thai we would not use passive right instead we would maybe use some kind of other structure like เขาว่ากันว่า
right but like in the situation where you got a car like you got into a car accident then it's important that you keep the word ถูก right because you're the person who bump into the crash or got crashed or you actually the person who drive the car to how do you explain in English like crash to the other person
yes well you received the
ว่า
action
ช
like
น
you said
กระ
before
ถูกชน ชน
but
กับถูกชน
actually
ไม่เหมือนกัน
let's actually yes you're right tuk chon but let's cover the grammar here a little more completely we didn't quite say this so because and this threw me off for a while when I was learning Thai so if you get hit by a car in Thai in English hit comes first car comes second right so you would think you would ถูกชนรถ but no you ถูกรถชน right
yeah
ถูกรถ
yes
ชน
that's the structure
yeah so it goes subject verb so subject ถูก and then it goes agent plus verb and the agent is often left out right
ใช่ after put in a bracket it's like for example ถูกพ่อตี you got your dad hit you that's how we say in Thai the structure so in English would be
you got hit by your dad yeah
hit by your dad
right
ใช่
so in English we mobilize the agent with by right you got hit by a car with Thai you mobilize it by putting it in front of the passive verb after the word ถูก or โดน
ใช่ใช่ใช่โอเคแต่ว่าอันนี้ชนแปลว่าอะไร crash ถูกชนแปลว่า got crash เหรอ
hit chon is hit I mean yeah it can mean crash but okay the reason we have to understand what crash means at first I'm pretty sure crash is onomatopoetic it has to do with the sound that occurs when things that are metal or glass bang into each other and it goes so chon doesn't have that meaning yeah like But if I bang into the table, which is also onomatopoetic, that is also chonto, right?
ชนโต๊ะ
But it's not crashing because it's not a crash material. So crash, and I mean, this isn't an English lesson, but crash, bump, bang, all of these are chon.
อ่า
And,
ชน
right, and like even I'm thinking of an 18 plus meaning of chon right now. Don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but like, if something goes in very deep and it hits the back, if it hits it in, like, you can't force it anymore. You could also say chon, right? So it has all kinds of meanings, but it's this kind of ramming into something meaning in one way or another. Yeah.
อืม
So yeah.
แต่ถ้าบอกว่า
could be done.
ส่วนใหญ่ก็คือ let's say you got in a car accident you probably get asked did you ชนเขาหรือว่าถูกชนก็คือ did you the person who ชนเขาอะมันคืออะไรภาษาอังกฤษ hit
Yeah,
hit
did you
them
hit them? I mean, yeah, hit them. Did you hit them, or did they hit you, or did you get hit?
when they hit you ถูกชน is like
Or
they
did you
hit
get hit? Yeah, you got hit. Yeah, got hit.
แล้วก็ one thing that is like most common like mistake for translation is when you got in a car accident in Thai is ถูกรถชน not got in a car accident like formal to say like when you say in English I got in a car accident right in Thai we don't say อุบัติเหตุ like that formal just say ถูกรถชน
Yeah, or ขับรถชน
yeah ขับรถชน
both are possible.
we
Yeah,
don't
ขับรถชน
say so in English it's like got in a car accident but in Thai we just say differently we don't put the word accident at all we just say
Not when you're talking about yourself. When you're talking about third person experiences, you hear it all the time. Yeah, เมื่อกี้เกิดอุบัติเหตุรถแบบมีคนเขาขับรถชนกันเกิดอุบัติเหตุรถชนมีอุบัติเหตุก็ไม่ formal นะ You hear มีอุบัติเหตุ all the time
แต่ว่าคนไทยชอบพูดว่าคนขับรถถูกรถชนทำไมไม่มาอะไรเงี้ยถูกรถชนก็ใช้อุบัติเหตุ
ใช่แต่อันนั้นไม่ใช่บุคคลที่สามไงผมบอกอยู่ว่ามันต้องเป็นบุคคลที่สามไง not about us not about me not about you not about it you are not in the situation ทำไมมาสายอ่ะพอดีมีอุบัติเหตุครับก็เลยมาสาย you don't even have to say whether you are in the อุบัติเหตุ or not is not clear in that sense right
ได้ยินบุคคลที่สามก็ได้ยินถูกรถชนทำไมเขาถูกรถชนได้แต่หมายถึงว่า I was gonna say I think I was trying to say it's like I think this is a common phrase in English or not no
got in a car accident yeah got in a car accident yeah
ใช่แต่ว่าคนไทยอ่ะจะไม่พูดว่าจะไม่มีคำว่า accident อยู่ในคำนั้นจะพูดว่าถูกรถชนแค่นี้ถูกรถชน
No exactly so got in a car accident you don't really hear in Thai you do hear there was an accident though you hear that all the time but again that's my point there was an accident ไม่เกี่ยวกับคุณไงright ไม่เกี่ยวกับคุณเลย that's my difference here so if you're talking about an accident that happened elsewhere you will hear the word อุบัติเหตุ but if you're talking about it happening to you whether you did it or whether it happened to you you don't use it right and got in a car accident is ambiguous it might be your fault คุณขับรถชนเขาหรือว่าคุณถูกรถชนis both getting in a car accident right
ถูกรถชนจะ more clear who's hit who yeah okay หมดยังไม่ถูกใช่ป่ะ last one
ไม่ถูก right so sometimes if you want to sound more Thai you will not use mâi-dâai you will use mâi-tùuk instead one of the most common ones that I teach is a fixed one like you don't want to say เลือกไม่ได้ you want to say เลือกไม่ถูก in most cases
what's the difference
well เลือกไม่ได้ might mean you ไม่มีสิทธิ์เลือกคนเราเลือกไม่ได้เนาะว่าจะเกิดเป็นใคร you don't have the option of right เราเลือกไม่ได้ we do not have the option
it's so funny because it's totally the opposite meaning these two เลือกไม่ถูกและเลือกไม่ได้ right
yeah exactly เลือกไม่ถูก you have so many options that you don't know what to choose or you don't have enough information to choose the correct one like all your options look really similar so you can't pick which one right or you just simply don't know anything about what you're choosing for example I was buying a selfie stand or the stand I'm using for my phone right now and it was like 14 models and I needed to choose in like 15 minutes I had no clue so I used this phrase เลือกไม่ถูกเลยครับเลือกไม่ได้ would mean there was one type you don't have a choice there's no option right Yeah. So these are totally different. Not being able to choose. What are some other ones we could use mâi-tùuk for?
เลือกไม่ได้ เดี๋ยวขอแบบ situation หน่อย for example
Dao mâi-tùuk works too. Oh, you want for เลือกmâi-tùuk เหรอหรือว่าเลือกไม่ได้
ก็ใช่ example นิดนึงเลือกไม่ได้ใช่บอกว่า
ก็เหมือนที่ผมบอกไงเราเลือกไม่ได้ว่าเราจะเกิดที่ไหนบนโลกนี้เราright
okay you translate that into English
we can't choose where we are born
okay carry on มีอะไรอีกนะบอกไม่ถูกบอกไม่ถูก
yeah อธิบายไม่ถูกบอกไม่ถูกอธิบายไม่ถูก which
อธิบายไม่ถูก
บอกไม่ถูก and พูดไม่ถูกอธิบายไม่ถูก all three of these can have two meanings they could mean that you don't know how to do it the right way it could also simply mean that you're incorrect นี่เมื่อกี้คุณพูดไม่ถูกนะ right คุณพูดไม่ถูก is totally different than เฮ้ย
เดี๋ยวเอาทีละอันบอกไม่ถูกแปลว่าอะไรบอกไม่ถูก
okay so บอกไม่ถูกก็คือ I don't know how to explain it I don't know how I don't know what to say no, that's more like ตอบไม่ถูกปะพูดไม่ถูก
ตอบไม่ถูก
I still like I don't know how to explain it honestly
ถ้าบอกไม่ได้อะ the difference between บอกไม่ถูกกับบอกไม่ได้
I'm not allowed to tell you or I'm unable to because of like for example มันบอกไม่ได้ because we don't have enough information บอกไม่ได้ because we don't have enough information ยังบอกไม่ได้ว่ามันจะดีหรือไม่ดีเพราะว่าเรายังมีข้อมูลไม่พอ right บอกไม่ได้บอกไม่ถูก does not work here บอกไม่ถูก you know the information but you don't know how to put it into words right
so for example someone go ahead
you go no you go
so like for example if they say let's say I went on a date with someone and then my friend is like Sarah I don't think you should date that person I say why and the person said no I cannot tell you so that would be the secret that the person cannot share with me maybe she knows about how this guy is not good or whatever but if she say บอกไม่ถูก my gut feeling just telling me something
yeah she doesn't know exactly why but she knows there's some reason but she can't put it into words right yeah so maybe put that too I'm unable to put it into words บอกไม่ถูก I can't put it into words
yeah อธิบายไม่ถูกอธิบายไม่ได้ต่ออธิบายไม่ได้บอกไม่ได้อธิบาย you want to add something
no it's fine I mean บอกไม่ได้ okay so for บอกไม่ได้ right you already said right it's like a secret or there so it's either there's a secret or there's missing information then it's usually ยังบอกไม่ได้ right for example อาทิตย์หน้าจะไปไหมเฮ้ยยังบอกไม่ได้เลยต้องไปดูต้องดูก่อนว่ามีงานไหมแบบ right you have to get more information before you can tell so either you're not allowed to tell it or you can't tell it yet because you don't have enough information but it's not about the formulation of the words
เข้าใจอธิบายไม่ได้กับอธิบายไม่ถูกก็คล้ายๆกันนะ
it's exactly the same yeah it's the same it's just showing you that they follow the same pattern
ฮะเหรออธิบายไม่ได้อธิบายไม่ถูก
เราอธิบายไม่ได้นะ
ใช่
เฮ้ยคุณอธิบายไม่ได้it's not your turn so you cannot do it right
แต่อธิบายไม่ถูก can also means you explain but it's not correct too
correct exactly and so can พูดไม่ถูก same thing พูดไม่ถูก same way
พูดไม่ถูกอธิบายไม่ถูกเหมือนกัน
yep they both are completely ambiguous depending on the context
พูดไม่ถูกยังมีพูดไม่ออกนะ that's another lesson
but we're talking about ถูก today but in general we can but the awk thing just to so if you haven't learned about the awk as a resultant verb then this might feel very weird to you if you have learned about the resultant awk which I hope you would because it's pretty beginner structure fung awk right kit awk all these different things that are very very commonly taught in the early levels
kind of
yes I agree but you see ได้รับเลื่อนตำแหน่ง all the time นะ I translated documents for a living about this kind of stuff you do see ได้รับเลื่อนตำแหน่ง
ไม่ค่อยได้รับอันนี้มัน formal มากเลยเนาะ
yeah you see both though
like get promotion right get promotion maybe no
sure yeah I mean sure I really don't subscribe to making it that blanket or like that strict of a translation, because like, it goes back to what we said before. Like Thai is Thai, English is English. Just because the grammatical structures look the same doesn't mean we always need to force them into that. And I was of the opinion 10 years ago, before I started translating documents like this, that it always had to be dâai-ráp การเรื่องตำแหน่งเลือกตำแหน่ง but เลื่อนตำแหน่ง sorry. And then I translated millions of pages of documents about this thing and saw some people like to use the full phrase and other people don't. And some people say dai ลื่อนตำแหน่ง, and that's also fine. And some people just say เลื่อนตำแหน่ง maเป็น, and that's also fine. And in English, you would need the passive voice for any of those. No matter how, you would always need the passive. So like, I feel like locking it in there is not necessarily the best practice, because Thai is more flexible than English in this regard. Like, it's way more flexible, and that's one of the cool things about Thai. So by trying to force Thai into this space where it's like, well, we have to be able to translate everything exactly into English, we're kind of taking away one of the things that to me is beautiful about the Thai language, which is high, very, very, very high flexibility.
เอกกี้ thank you คุณเอกกี้นะคะ for
Yes, thank you so much.
and Graham too อันนี้เดี๋ยวนะถูกพัฒนาได้รับการพัฒนาเหมือนกันใช่ไหม
Yeah, we're positive, right? You couldn't say Don Patana though, right?
ไม่ได้ใช่อะไรคือ they said that ลือไม่เข้าใจค่ะหมายถึงลือเขาลือกันว่า it was a rumor that right it was like a rumor
เขาลือกันว่าใช่ but ลือ is
like a rumor not just said that
yeah
but you can I guess you could say that but
no,
like
it's possible
sometimes Thai I think sometimes in Thai we say เขาลือกันว่า but we actually meant they said that so could be too
yeah. It's like they're talking about it, well, because lu actually doesn't so lu well but yeah, but that's the modern meaning though. But in the old meaning, like you have เสียงลือเสียงเล่าอ้าง, right? You know this, right? เสียงลือเสียงเล่าอ้างอันใดพี่เอ่ย. That's super old Thai, and it meant that this is what people are talking about. It's the popular thing, right? I think you still have like oh man, my Thai is still here now. Lam lu ba? It's like something that is famous or
ใช่เป็นที่ล่ำลือ
yeah, but ti lam lu, right? So lu doesn't always mean a rumor, because a rumor means something that isn't confirmed, and that's not always what lu means. So like lu
แต่ว่า
chu.
ถ้าเกิดพูดนะว่าเขาลือกันว่าเนี่ยก็คือคนจะคิดว่าเป็น rumor ไงแต่ว่ามันก็ subjective too. Some people might take it as said that, but some people might when you hear the ลือข่าวลือเขาอาจจะได้ยินคำเดียวลือแล้วก็ okay it sounds like ข่าวลือ it could be that
exactly. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Kao lu is a very locked meaning, I would say. Kao lu is very locked into being a rumor, but lu as itself is much more flexible than that. Yeah.
Okay. หมดยัง
can you scroll down? Oh yeah, no, not done. No, we still have do ถูกใจ and ถูกคอ and ถูกกัน
อันนี้เหรอนี่นะ
ใช่ครับ so this one, if you stuck around for this part, you get to guess the meanings of these ones. What might you think ดูถูก means? ดูถูก actually can have two meanings.
Look correct.
Yeah, or well, it could be like ดูดวงนะหมอคนนี้ดูถูกไหมดูถูกดูแม่น right แม่นถูก this meaning
มึนเลย
yeah, for sure. ถูกใจ what do you think ถูกใจ means? And ถูกคอ is three. Well, ถูกกัน too, might as well throw it in there for good measure. ถูกกันอันนั้นคนละอย่างกันพี่
ไปถูกกันที่ไหน ตายแล้วซาร่า
My daughter's taking a bath right now. What's going on?
Okay,
so ดูถูกนะ can mean to insult, as in to look down on or to insult someone.
ดูถูกแล้วก็ดูแต่ว่า like you said it can be used for psychic reading, right? ดูถูก means like
exactly
that interpretation was correct or was on point. แล้วก็ดูไม่ถูกก็คือ not on point.
And you hear this like in general when someone talks about people too เนี่ยตอนแรกนะเราก็ไม่แน่ใจว่าเขาเป็นคนดีหรือเป็นคนไม่ดีแต่พอเกิดเรื่องเนี้ยแสดงว่าเนี่ยเราดูถูกตั้งแต่แรก
หรือว่าเราเดาถูก
เดาถูกใช่แปลว่าเราเดาถูกเราดูออกเนาะก็คือเราดูออกว่าเป็นคน
ดูถูกเดาถูกทายถูกได้
exactly but here ดูถูก to insult someone อย่ามาดูถูกฉัน
ส่วนใหญ่เวลาคนดูถูกมักจะอ่านแล้วไม่เข้าใจพี่ซาร่าไม่เข้าใจว่าเขากำลังดูถูกอยู่ ก็เลยแบบว่าเอาแปลว่าอะไรคะอะไรโอเคถูกใจ
well this is the formal Thai translation of the like button right for one thing
ใช่
เรากดถูกใจนะ so like I you know you get notifications Sarah Lee กดถูกใจกับในโพสที่คุณเขียน
like Sarah liked your post that was what it means
กดถูกใจ press the ถูกใจ button
yeah
so ถูกใจ also means like something is pleasing to you right it suits your fancy which again you have your dâai and this thing comes into contact with your dâai right that's why I say again it's really not that different it's all the same tool right it just gets used in different ways that you might not expect but the meaning is in the end all the same like for example the next one ถูกคอ right so what do you use your call to do you use it to talk right and so if youถูกcall then you and this person when you talk your necks touch
on the same like kind of wavelength or kind of vibe maybe vibe คุยถูกคอปะคุยถูกคอ
yeah คุยถูกคอ yeah I really like talking to this person these guys they're really getting along well but it's funny because ถูกคอnot the same yeah vibing is a bit new but yeah sure it's fine ถูกกันcould be the same though but yeah usually ถูกกัน is a negative ถูกคอ
start talking yeah ถูกคอ
คุยกันไม่ค่อยถูกคอนะไม่ใช่ว่าไม่ชอบเขาแต่คุยกันไม่ค่อยถูกคอ could mean so คุยไม่ถูกคอ
disagree
yeah like you couldn't find anything in common maybe if you คุยกันไม่ค่อยถูกคอ yeah to talk about maybe having things in common to talk about yeah it's good so then ถูกกัน
เดี๋ยวถามก่อน what's the difference between ถูกใจแล้วก็ชอบ
well the structure is different for sure ผมชอบอันนี้ถูกใจผม right ผมถูกใจอันนี้ก็ได้เลยก็ได้นี่
ได้หมดเลยแล้วมันเป็น interesting structure นะ
อันนี้ผมชอบก็ได้นี่แต่อันนี้ชอบผมไม่ได้อันนี้ชอบผมไม่ได้นะ
I think ถูกใจ it's more like more than like it's like something that you're maybe looking
it's
for
pleasing to you right that's why I say it's
exactly what I'm looking for ถูกใจมาก
yeah อันนี้ถูกใจมากเลยถูกใจ yeah it's
คนนี้ถูกใจมากคนนี้ถูกใจ
I like what you said it's what you're looking for yeah that's good it's what you're looking for that's nice
check all the boxes this guy check all the boxes ถูกใจมากถูกใจคนนี้มาก
yeah because again you have a thing in your mind and this hits that it scratches that itch it hits the point right yeah exactly I mean like quite literally if you understandถูกin the base meaning of to touch all of these deeper meanings make sense right so it's much I think that I want to keep coming back to that point because I think it's really something that if you approach it from this you'll find over a year or 2 years time like oh yeah actually it really all is just touching in one way shape or form okay ถูกคอ
ถูกตาไม่ได้ถูกจมูกเริ่มไหลไปเรื่อยเริ่มมั่วไม่มีถูกกัน
ถูกท้อง
แต่คนไทยจะใช้ไม่ถูกท้องไม่ได้แล้ว
exactly ถูกกัน is almost always negative exactly
ใช่
ไม่ถูกกัน
we don't say ถูกกันwe just say ไม่ถูกกัน you don't get along you're like you have a beef they have a beef ได้ไหม with someone
sure again that's very slangy though I'm kind of not a fan of using 21st century slang to translate phrases that have been around for hundreds of years in Thai like ไม่ถูกกัน has been around for at least 100 years
เกาเหลาไม่ have a beef ได้ เกาเหลากินเกาเหลากัน have a beef ได้
Sure. Yeah,
ไม่กินเส้น
that's what I'm
ไม่กิ
saying.
นเส้น
Right? There's plenty of slang in Thai, so I'm a bit averse to the practice of taking very normal, natural phrases in Thai that are not slang that have been used for a long time and mapping them onto English phrases that are just coming out. Like I get why that can be helpful to some people because some people just think in slang, and so giving them this makes it so they're speaking more neutral Thai. But like you said, there is a phrase that very well matches up with have beef with someone, right? So we should reserve it for that, in my thoughts. Yeah, not get
But
along. Exactly. Not
have a beef with someone is a recent slang. I thought it's been around for a while.
not that long. I mean, that's what I said. 21st century. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure beef comes in with the rap culture in the 90s, maybe the 80s. But either way, I mean, mâi-tùuk has been around a very long
Not
time.
get along. Maybe not get along with. Probably the
Yeah,
best.
yeah, not get along with. As you have it's written. It's
แล้ว
great.
กัดกลับได้ไหม
Absolutely.
กัดกลับคนเนี้ยชอบกัดกับคนเนี้ย have a beef ได้ไหม
ชอบกัดกัน That's different though, nah? Like
ชอบกัดกัน ก็ไม่ถูกกันไง
like
ชอบกัด
my
กัน
daughter,
กัด
I'll
กัน
give you an example. My daughter has a kid that she actually gets along with quite well, but they always pick at each other. They're always bickering.
กัด
And so we used to say mâi-tùukกัน, but we no longer say
กัด
that.
กับ
ไม่ถึงกับmâi-tùukกันแต่แค่ชอบกัดกันเรื่อยๆมีปัญหาบ่อย but then ก็สุดท้ายก็กลับมาดีกันตลอด right? So it's a little different than mâi-tùukกัน I
แต่
think.
ว่ากัด
mâi-tùuk
กัด
กัน is
ถ้าบอก
more
ว่ากัดชอบคนเนี้ยชอบกัดกับคนนี้แบบสมมติว่าอย่าบอก Taylor Swift กับชื่ออะไรวะ Taylor Swift กับชื่ออะไรนะ Kanye อ่ะชอบกัดกัน อย่างเงี้ยคือเขาไม่ชอบกันจริงๆไงก็ใช้ได้ไม่ใช่เหรอชอบกัดกันมีอะไรเจอกันก็ชอบกัดกัน
sure
ใช่
but it yeah okay so in that meaning it could
แล้วจะพูดอะไร
right
ภา
but
ษาอังกฤษภาษาอังกฤษจะพู
ภา
ด
ษา
อะไร
ไทยมันดิ้นได้ไง
ถ้าเป็นภาษาอังกฤษจะพูดว่าอะไรสมมติว่าสองคนเนี้ยชอบกัดกันไม่ถูกกันสักทีชอบกัดกันอยู่เรื่อยอะไรอย่างเงี้ยจะอธิบายภาษาอังกฤษว่าไงใช้ว่าอะไร
they're always
เอาธรรมดา
having
ก็ได้ไม่ต้องแสดง
always having problems between each other. They're always fighting. I guess fighting.
Always fighting.
Because fighting doesn't have to be ไม่ต้องถึงทะเลาะ like that, right? They're always having spats. We have that one too.
Spats, yeah.
You have to have a spat. Some kind of like having spats, yeah. And whether they ไม่ถูกกันจริงๆ or not is an extra dynamic of it, I would say. Okay. The words you shouldn't get this mixed up with จริงๆแล้วน่าจะประเดิมน่าจะนี่ตั้งหัวข้อเรื่องแล้วก็พูดเรื่องนี้ไปเลยนะตั้งแต่แรกเลย now I'm realizing this at the end of this clip but yeah so if we're talking about ทุก right ทุก means every I guess
every ใช่อันเนี้ยคือ actually it's funny because right timing we doing this lesson tonight because last night I was teaching a group of my students group class and then I was teaching the word ทุกข์ใจทุกข์ which is suffering and then he asked what's the difference between this one and the ทุกข์ that we just talk about for the whole session tonight and so I was like oh yeah this one is actually high tone and also with the short vowel. Oh. Yeah. And then the first one is the one that we talk about. It's a long vowel. Even though ทอถุง and ทอทหาร sound the same. Yeah, but the tone and the vowel lengths are different. Yeah. So and also this one we have ทุก here with ขอไข่ and the cancelling sign ไม้ธนคาต or Thai we will call it การัน and this one has nothing there. But they both are homophones, right? So this one means every. This one means suffering.
Yep.
It comes from Tuka. I look it up. My student told me yesterday about Bali, ภาษาบาลี Like I look it up. Say from
Pali in English was right. You said it right the first time. But I always get this confused too.
I said Pali and I said ภาษาบาลีภาษาไทยพูดบาลี ใช่โอเคevery แล้วก็ every ไทย accent มาก every แล้วก็ suffering featuring suffering
and so you have for example we have เลือกถูกที่ means you chose the right place เลือกทุกที่ you chose every place
yeah different
right
เลือก
ถูกที่ the correct place ทุกที่ every
เลือกถูก
place.
เลือกถูกที่ I'm trying to see
Which
if
I
can
think
one wrong.
maybe it's worth mentioning the words "took" and "pit" can do something weird in Thai, which is normally you're getting used to putting adjectives in the back, kon di, not di kon, right? But for some reason, we don't say เลือกที่ถูก we say เลือกถูกที่
เลือกถูกที่ว่ะ
เลือกถูกคนเฮ้ยแสดงว่าเลือกถูกคนเนี่ยเลือกคนถูกก็ได้ but it's slightly different right it's slightly different
เลือกที่
right
ถูกได้นะเลือกที่ถูกได้เหมือนกันแต่ว่าไม่ใช้ not as common
but the meaning is also different right เลือกที่ถูก means การเลือกของเราอะถูกกระบวนการเลือกอะถูก but if I say เลือกถูกที่แปลว่าที่เราเลือกอะถูก
right correct place
right so correct place versus I chose the place correctly right
ยากอะ
yeah but that one's interesting right because normally you would not expect these words to be ever able to come in front of the classifier, but they absolutely can in the cases of pit and took. Pit as well. เลือกผิดที่เลือกผิดร้านเลือกร้านผิดเลือกร้านผิด
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. But I think you probably need to learn Thai script to be able to understand this. Because I'm done with romanizing now tonight.
Okay,
Damn, it's like oh my god, my brain hurts seeing all this, Anyway, enough venting. เลือกถูกที่เลือกถูกคนเลือกคนถูก yeah. So basically if you say เลือกถูกที่ the word ถูก emphasize the place ใช่ไหม but if you say เลือกที่ถูก
what if I said เลือกที่ไม่ถูก
เลือกที่there's too many options you cannot choose
right exactly yeah
but if you say เลือกที่ถูก emphasize the action of เลือก yeah so that's the difference also same goes for เลือกเลยนะถูกคนใช่ไหมแล้วก็เลือกคนถูกเลือกถูกคนแปลว่า correct person but เลือกคนถูก means your action of choosing is correct
which is a very very small difference so knowing when to use one or the other takes a good bit of experience but you can use both just know they're slightly different
ใช่มีอะไรอีกไหมแล้วอันนี้ใช้อะไรดีอันนี้มีทุกใจกับถูกใจเราใช้นะทุกใจ it's like you suffer at heart ใช่ทุกใจถูกใจคล้ายๆกัน
เห็นเขาทุกข์ใจเราก็ถูกใจเลยนี่ because we don't like them right we're glad เราสะใจ
สมน้ำหน้า
yeah right so you can absolutely
look what you're saying ถูกอะไรนะเมื่อกี้ว่าอะไรนะเห็นเขาทุกข์ใจเราก็ถูกใจค่ะ
ใช่เห็นเขาทุกข์ใจเราก็ถูกใจ but normally I would say สะใจ in that case but if you want to be funny and use a play on words you could definitely use it ใช่แล้วครับถูกค่ะ notice if you watch this clip you go back and watch this how many times did Pisara say ใช่ and how many times did she say ถูกbecause we are interacting with each other like we are peers you hear ใช่ most of the time however when I'm talking to my students I notice myself say ถูก a lot because you want to give the assurance that they're correct in their understanding and so that's again game shows teachers sort of I'm deferring to your expertise all of this and the expert will often say ถูกand then like we said like what we had I forget was it Graham I think said I know lots of people that say ถูก or I know some people that say ถูก instead of ใช่ there are those two for sure
ร้องทุกข์แปลว่าอะไร file complaint
yeah or grievance as well file complaint
your wife is beautiful ภรรยาสวย more quarrelsome ในมุมนึงจะเป็นใช้ความหมายกัดกันได้ไหม
that's nice yeah I don't ever really use that word but you could but throwing around but I use spat I would say spat and quarrel are very very similar meanings so I don't really use quarrel I feel like quarrel sounds a bit old to me but if you said they're always quarreling for sure that would get the meaning you're talking about for sure
Okay. All right. How can they follow you, Luke? So learn like Luke Facebook page.
Yeah, you can for now you can follow this page. I think if you type it into YouTube now, you should also find me. However, I've been mostly active on my Facebook page. Next year, I'm gonna go hard and start putting stuff on TikTok and YouTube and stuff. But I wanted to get a couple hundred videos out on one place first before I start like building playlists and stuff like that. So next year I'll be more active. For now, though, just follow me on Facebook, please.
Okay, and I have the promo code for my โฆษณา I have the promo code for my course.
Shameless plug.
Promo 1212. 15% only, not 50. Yeah, I think someone asked for 50. I cannot do that. 15 for now.
จดไปก่อนเลยครับ จดไปก่อนเลย write it down
1212 deal นะคะ promo PROMO 1212 for 15% off my complete guide to Thai script. And yeah, that's it. Anything else you want to add for ถูก Luke?
ไม่มีอะไรแล้วครับ พอแค่นี้ก่อน
ไม่มีอะไรแล้ว Okay. Thank you so much
ครับ
for being here. Thank you
ขอบคุณค
to
รับ
all of you guys too for tuning in. I hope you like my background, my piano and everything. But Luke could enjoy that background today.
ใช่เสียดายมากเลย
โอ้เสียดายมาก
นั่งบ้านหรูๆบ้างไม่เป็นไร วันหลัง
ใช่
วันหลัง
ใช่วัน
ค
ห
รั
ลั
บ
ง
ขอบคุณมากครับพี่
วันห
ส
น้า
นุกเหมือนเดิมได้
ยิ
วัน น
ดี
หน้า
ค่ะ
ผมไม่มีวันพูดคำนี้ผมพูดวันหลังตลอด วันหน้า
มันเป็นโจ๊กตลอดเวลาแหละวันนี้
ครับ ใช่
ใช่
โอกาสหน้านะ โอกาสหน้าพูดนะ แต่ว่า
ได้
วันหน้าผมไม่ค่อยได้พูดครับ
โอเค เจอกันใหม่
ครั
นะ
บ
คะทุกคน see you
ครับพี่
again
สวัสดี
next
ครับ
time
ครับ
hold on มีคนถาม thank you so much your discussion is so
thank you ขอบคุณครับขอบคุณค
thank
รับ
you ขอบคุณค่ะ tune in next
ขอบ
time
คุณ
X
สำหรับ
are you
contribution ด้วยนะครับ
oh yeah good yeah thank you so much okay guys love you guys ค่ะรักทุกคนค่ะบ๊ายบายเดี๋ยวพี่เอ็นก่อนลูกอย่าเพิ่งไป
ครับเอาเลยครับ
บ๊ายบาย